Welcome into the official. We are going to continue our mock draft this time. This is going to be a mock draft of 2023 collegiate freshmen. We did the first two rounds 2 weeks ago. Last week, we had our friend Walker White on the show to ask him about how his season is going. He's a 2024 quarterback. So go and check both of those episodes out if you haven't already. And then tonight, we're going to go rounds 3 and 4 of our 2023 freshman mock draft for Campus to Canton leagues. This is the official. All right, gentlemen, welcome back. It's just us, no special guests tonight. But one of the things that we love to do, we're going to mock. I mean, we had fun the first two rounds. We're going to mock again, rounds 3 and 4. You guys ready to do some?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, so just to recap, if you didn't watch it, the episode from 2 weeks ago was the first two rounds. So I'm just going to give names. If you want to hear analysis, why we picked those guys, what we're liking in their prospect profile, please go back and check that episode, the first two rounds of the mock. But starting with David, we had Cedric Baxter, Malachi Nelson went to Matt, Zachariah Branch, Dante Moore, Arch Manning, Justice Haynes, Jonte Cook, Ruben Owens, Jurian Dickey, Richard Young, Makai Lemon, and Deuce Robinson in the first round. Then we had Brandon Innes, Jalen Hale, DeAndre Moore, Malik Benson went in early second round. That is a JUCO transfer going to Alabama. So not technically a freshman, but he would be included in those drafts. Jackson Arnold, Amarian Peterson, Roderick Robinson, Dontavius Braswell, Avery Johnson, Nico Ayamaleva, Cam Selden, and then Noah Rogers to round out the second round. So now we start the third round. Let's just keep it easy. We're going to go the same order: David, Matt, Alfred, and rotate. So, I'm just going to throw it to David here. Who's the best remaining player on your board?
All right, so the best remaining player, when I'm weighing like situations and stuff, I think I'm going to go, this is kind of a reach probably. I think I am going to go with Nathan Leacock just because I have Nico. I'm going to do a little stack action here. I just love that Tennessee offense. He's like 6'3", 200 pounds. I think he's a 21.4 mile per hour guy. Good coordination. I mean, he's going to play that, Cedric Tillman type role. Probably going to have a high A dot and has, he's going to have tons of spike weeks, I think, over at Tennessee. Just kind of got to hope that maybe there's some rumors going around that Cardinal Tate could flip over to Tennessee and maybe take away a little bit of his production. But, I like Leacock in that offense quite a bit.
That is really interesting. You bring up Leacock. We just talked about him in the thread. I was looking at his numbers just the other day. I was doing my eval, and another favorite of the official was Wesley Grimes. Last year, played at the same high school, and Wesley Grimes went ham last year, like 1,600 yards, 26 touchdowns in the senior season, and Leacock is set to exceed that by a pretty good margin. He's on pace for like 1,900 receiving yards and 30 touchdowns. And he's just huge, like lanky, huge. I mean, covers tons of space with his physique there. So really interesting pick there. I mean, yeah, get your guy, but 4-star headed to that offense. Can't go wrong there. All right, Matt, you're next.
All right, I'll be taking Jaden Greathouse, wide receiver, Notre Dame. He was one I just yelled at you before the show for bringing up because I didn't want David to take him before me in case he somehow forgot about him. I just think he's such a solid player. Notre Dame needs wide receivers. He's ready to go. He's got the size. He's refined. He's going to be able to get open. And he's looked even more explosive this year. He's been making a lot of big plays. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everyone knows Jaden Greathouse at this point, and I think in the third round, that's pretty good value.
I think it's great value. He would have been my guy had he fallen to me, but this room is too sharp. Yeah, I have Greathouse pretty high on my wide receivers. What's the knock? I know there's been some talk in our Slack a little bit, at least. Some people say he's like a pseudo tight end. I mean, do you buy that? Do you think he's a real
ESPN ranks him at tight end, which we don't have any evidence he's going to be playing tight end. I don't think he needs to move to tight end because he's not a plus athlete at his, he's pushing 220. And he's not, he's kind of an average athlete at that size already. So unless he slims down, if he continues to grow, maybe. But at the moment, I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah. I just think there's a little bit of. I like the pick. Obviously, I'm a Greathouse fan. I think there is some risk involved. For one, Notre Dame is just like you said. He might just come in and just kind of take over at Notre Dame. The receivers there have just been really bad. But just the offense in general does not look promising to me. And there's a small risk that he could like outgrow the position, and teams are actively recruiting him as a tight end. Like Oklahoma, for instance, is pushing pretty hard. I don't know. Yeah, he's just not the fastest guy. I definitely like him though. I like the pick.
All right, I am gonna go with a guy. I don't know if this is a little hot. It's probably high, but I actually ranked him. I ranked him pretty well, so I'm just going to take him here because I want to go with a running back, and I'm going to go Dalen Smothers, committed to Oklahoma, and I've got him rated pretty high just on pure film. He weighs about 185, which is a bit of a concern, but it's not really at the college level. It's just like, can we translate that to the NFL? But at that size, I'm not going to rate a guy very high unless he shows some pass catching ability. I really like his movement, agility, lateral agility, overall speed. And it's just kind of where I have him here. He's my BPA on this board right now. And so I'm going to go Dylan Smothers to Oklahoma running back for this pick. And we're back to David.
I'm going to go with a guy that's been growing on me recently. I finally watched a full game of him. Wide receiver Tayshawn Lions. I need him to go to Washington. I really hope he goes there. He's out there on the West Coast. I believe he plays in Oregon. He's just so. I think Matt, you got him over 22 miles per hour. He just glides. He's so slick. He's already a really good route runner. So I think he'll be able to separate at the next level easily. And if he can fill out his frame a little more, how much does that matter? I don't know. I think size still kind of matters for upside in general, but he's leaning. I guess it's between Notre Dame or Washington at this point. I'd definitely rather go to Washington. So like, if he goes there, I think he's got pretty good upside.
Yeah, and the Lions is a real riser for the C2C team right now. He's moved into my top 10. I don't remember where Austin put him, but I believe he's also very high on him. You're very high on him, obviously. So he's something that we're all very excited about, and he's risen in the recruiting services rankings pretty highly as of late, too.
Yeah. I just watched him the other night after you guys were talking about him, and pretty impressed. He glides. You're totally right. My one concern is, like you said, size. He's currently listed like 160 something. It's a little light for my taste, but we never know if those are totally up to date. So there's room to grow from there. All right. So Matt, who you got?
All right. I'm going to take Kenny Minchie here, quarterback Pitt. I'm going to continue my quarterback monopoly here. He's another guy that's had a really good season compared to last year, at least, where he wasn't bad by any means last year, but he's taken a really noticeable next step. His arm looks better. He's putting up great numbers, playing against pretty good Tennessee competition. It's a question how well he's going to do in college in that Pitt offense, or it's not where it was, just a year or two ago, but it's still, he's still a good high upside quarterback that I'm willing to take the bet on here.
I like that pick. I do. He's a big riser. He's got a really quick release, incredibly accurate. I think there's a lot to like. He just doesn't have the dual threat that I just maybe value too much, but I do like him. Okay, I'm going to go with a fairly big name that has fallen here, but I still have him ranked pretty high, and I think the upside, if everything comes together, is pretty high, and that's Sheldon Sampson, receiver headed to, I believe, LSU, still committed there. Just, one of these kind of athletic freaks, huge, tall, lengthy wide receiver that you can dream on if everything comes together. I think he's a little bit raw, but to me, he does show more true wide receiver skills than some of the other big, raw, similar types like your Hakeem Williams. I think I prefer Sheldon Sampson myself. A little bit better route runner, and looks like he's just a little bit more ready to be a wide receiver at the P5 level. So, yeah, I like Sheldon Sampson here. I think that's pretty good value. Now approaching the mid to late third round here. And then rated, 5-star by some services. So happy to snag him. David, back to you.
All right, back to me. I think I'll go with one other running back I'm semi-high on, although I'll go with the LSU commit, Caleb Jackson, just because he has pretty good size. I think he's pushing 200 pounds, and we got him at 21.8 miles per hour. I guess the only knock on him is maybe he's a little bit tight-hipped, but he's a good pass catcher. He can break tackles. He actually broke his leg this year, I think, so that's something. There is some risk definitely here to see if I don't know, he's young. I feel like he'll probably bounce back from that and be all right. And then, LSU, the running back room there isn't amazing at this point. So, maybe he produces relatively early in his career at LSU. So I'll go with Caleb Jackson.
All right, I like it. Yeah. Size and speed. Can't really go too wrong at running back. Big wide receiver guy. Are we going to get a wide receiver out of you or another quarterback?
No, I'm actually going to follow David here and go running back. I'll be taking Isaiah Augustov, running back, Arkansas. And he's another, big time size speed freak, 6'1", I believe, 190. I got him at 21.7 miles per hour, and you can see it all over his tape. He's a big home run hitter, very lean build at running back right now. I definitely think he has the frame to fill out more, definitely push over, 210 pounds eventually. And, going to Arkansas, they got a pretty good, program there to make that happen. So I'm not too concerned about his weight currently.
Okay, my turn. I'm going to have to start getting some quarterbacks here because otherwise they're all going to go to Matt. So I'm going to go Pierce Clarkson for me. This is a high-risk pick, I think, but I'm going to do it anyway because he's kind of the one of my highest-rated quarterbacks that's on the board right now. I like his dual threat ability. I like that he's going to Louisville, which has produced numerous, great, especially dual threat quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, obviously, and Malik Cunningham is excellent for fantasy. For college fantasy, I don't know if we know what's going to happen with him, at the NFL level. I don't think he's an NFL level passer really at all. But Clarkson looks like he could be, and he's got dual threat ability. Biggest knock is he might not have a rocket arm, but that could develop. Could be wrong on that. It's tough to say. It doesn't look like a huge cannon, but some guys can get away with that, especially if they're big-time dual threats. They don't necessarily have to have all the other tools. So I think it's a high-risk pick. Could not pan out here, but I'm going to go with my tape and what I saw with my eyeballs. We're going to go Pierce Clarkson.
All right, I like that. I'm gonna grab a QB too before I get scooped too. This is probably a reach too, but I don't know. I like him. Sam Leavitt. He's going to Washington State, so this is sort of
man,
this is a system pick. I mean, we're looking for. Listen, the guys on the board, these quarterbacks, I honestly don't see a whole lot of NFL upside with most of them.
I would have taken leave it very soon if you didn't.
Yeah, so I'm going for college production. I mean, he's going to Washington State, and he's a player that I already know that I like. So, his high school, he's hitting all the efficiency metrics I look for as a senior. He already hit them as a junior, but now he's even more efficient as a senior. I think he has like 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. His yards per attempt is well over 10. And he's actually rushing more this year too, which I like. I don't know how much he'll do that at Washington State, but he's got enough athleticism to make things happen when stuff breaks down. But yeah, he's going to pass. I mean, he's going to attempt 1 million passes at Washington State, and that's basically the gist of the pick.
I mean, I just didn't see that coming, but I really like Levitt. I mean, you brought him up, right? He was on our 3-star, kind of expose. Holy crap. I mean, he's got like some big time throws. I really like him. I didn't think he'd go here now, but hey, yeah, let's do it. He's the
get your guys
41. Yeah, get your guys. I mean, he's the QB 41 on 24/7. But just to let everyone know, like, we are doing our own rankings and we are we're putting these guys what we see on the tape and what we see in the metrics. It's still a P5 QB, 3-star or not. So I mean, if he pops, there's no limit to his NFL upside. I like it. I think he's real good. I just hadn't gotten around to putting him that high already, but that's pretty good pick. Matt, it's Matt or me?
It's me.
Okay,
no,
Matt.
Me.
Yeah.
I will be going with Keon Brown, wide receiver, Oklahoma here. He was a freak list guy, 6'2", 6'3", 200 pounds already. Super athletic, obviously. He's another guy that's kind of been rising this season for us. Austin's a big fan of him, so is David. I love him. Top 10 wide receiver for me. So yeah, a pretty easy get for me here in the 3rd round.
Yeah, nice pick. I know that. Again, we're picking 3-star guys here that we really believe are very good. And just to let everyone know, I mean, we're picking these guys over high 4 stars. So if you just go by 24/7 rankings, you're going to get some duds. We know this. We try to really pick out what we like, not necessarily what the 24/7 or the rivals is saying. That's really just scratching the surface. So you're not going to get these picks from anyone other than Campus to Canton and on the official. I'll tell you that. I'm going to go with another QB here. I'm going to just go back to back because I feel like I'm falling behind and just want to stock a nice little quiver of QBs. I'm going to go Ricky Collins, another unknown upside QB here with dual threat ability. I think Ricky Collins is one of the better runners in the class, at least until you get way down into the 3-stars where you can find some really good athletes. But I think he's got a good combination of athletic ability, legitimate dual threat guy, and pretty good passer. His motions maybe a little lanky for my taste, a little bit of a windup, but and then the Brian Kelly offense and LSU. So he's a QB going to LSU, but I trust that talent wins out, and I think he's a pretty interesting dual threat prospect. So I will take him here and just kind of beef out my QB room that's a little bit lacking. And that sums up the 3rd round. So let me just read back the names here real quick. We had Laycock going to David. He is a wide receiver headed to Tennessee. Jaden Greathouse going to who? Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame. I thought you were asking which team.
Sorry, no, sorry. Matt picked him, but I blanked on his commitment. But he's going to Notre Dame. I went Dylan Smothers going to Oklahoma, running back. Tayshawn Lions, wide receiver, going to, we don't know. I guess it's between Notre Dame and Washington. David's rooting for Washington now that he's on his fantasy team. Kenny Minchie, QB, going to Pitt. Like that one a lot. Shelton Sampson going to LSU. So I'm stacking the LSU offense. That could be a bad idea. Caleb Jackson, running back, going to LSU for David. Augustov going. Where's he? Is he going like Arkansas?
Yeah, Arkansas.
Okay, and Matt took the running back, Augustov going to Arkansas. I took Pierce Clarkson going to Louisville, and Sam Levitt out of left field, but not unreasonable, going to David here. He is headed to Washington State. Keon Brown going to Oklahoma to Matt, and then Ricky Collins going to LSU for me. Now I have 3 quarterbacks. I feel a little bit better about where I stand. Let's take it to the 4th round here, and David is on the clock.
All right, I feel like I'm doing pretty. I have most of the running backs I care about at this point. I think I'm going to go with a receiver who I don't like the landing spot, but Tyler Williams is a guy. He's super raw, I understand, but I think he has all the capabilities to be like that alpha type receiver that we like. Listen, Georgia, they like never produce 1,000-yard receiver. I mean, like AJ Green, Hines Ward, these are guys that went to Georgia, did not have 1,000 yards in a season. I mean, it's just absurd. So like, I know he's not going to do much on the college side. And I feel like it's a decent it is still a decent place to develop. I feel like George Pickens, that's a guy that went in the 2nd round recently. So I like his physical upside. I think he moves really well for a taller receiver. He's like I think he's 6'3", around 6, what is it? 6'2.5",
2 or something like that. Yeah. 6'2",
yeah, on 3 is 6'2.5", 200. So not too tall to where we're kind of like concerned about it. 200 pounds, but yeah, I just like the way he moves. I think he's got flexibility. I compared him to Chris Marshall on a previous episode just because, this is only his 2nd year playing receiver. He's a converted basketball player. It'll take him a little while to get going, but, I like his upside.
Awesome. All right, Matt.
All right, I think I'm also be taking a Florida wide receiver here in Hakeem Williams, wide receiver going to Florida State. I believe 5-star for 24/7 right now.
Yep.
We're a little bit lower on him. He's a bit older for his class, and he's kind of unrefined. Well, very unrefined, not kind of. But incredible athletic upside. Very good player after the catch. He can go up and get the ball too. So a lot of very promising upside. Going to an up-and-coming offense, Florida State kind of, emerging here this season, which is nice to see. I'm not sure how they're going to utilize him yet. There's a lot of projection with his game, but I'm happy with taking him here.
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, I think him and Sheldon Sampson both really fell. I think compared to what maybe some mocks would do. So I think they're either huge values or they could be duds. But we're banking on the athletic upside there. I like it. I knew he'd go sometime soon. I'm going to use this opportunity, and I don't think you guys would take him, but I'm just going to take him because I really like Joshua Manning, and he's a guy I'm kind of falling for as of late. I mentioned him in the Slack. Watched him a few nights ago and watched him again, being like, did I see what I thought I saw? And I just very impressed with this guy. I mean, looks like he's a fairly refined receiver. More than just an athlete, although he does have some pretty nice athleticism. A lot of dunks on his basketball tape, which David taught me to look for. But the biggest thing with him is a lot. I couldn't really explain it exactly, but like a lot of yak on his tape. I thought he seems to have good spatial awareness. I would say, kind of when he's making moves, he kind of uses angles the way you would expect a running back to. After the catch. Making himself difficult to tackle. Guys don't seem to be able to square him up, and you just don't see that very often. So I really liked what he brought to the table after the catch, especially. He's also a bigger guy, so when you've got a guy 6'2", 6'3", and able to move that way, I just thought he showed something a little different than I'm used to seeing, which obviously caught my attention. And he'll be going to Missouri. Hopefully they'll just get rid of Drinkwitz and bring in some kind of offensive system that's better. So like Luther Burden before him, we're not thrilled about the college side. But at this point, I'm just taking talent that I like, and Joshua Manning's got it for me. So yeah, he's a wide receiver headed to Missouri, if I didn't make that clear. And we're back to David.
Yeah, he was a freak list guy, I believe. Wasn't he like top 10, top 15 in the freak list?
I don't think so. I think he just had the really good triple jump, but I don't think that was.
I'll check it. And
don't do that to me, man! Don't do that to me. He had over a 24-foot long jump. I'm pretty sure. At like
I'll check. You make your pick. I'll check.
Yeah, you can take a look at that. All right, so I'm gonna go with another receiver probably here. So I'll go with Aiden Mizell, who's a guy that I liked pretty early on in the process. Kind of talked about him in the Slack a little bit. Most people are kind of lukewarm on him, but I just like his acceleration is crazy to me. Like the first time I watched him, I'm like, this guy moves like an Alabama receiver to me. The downside with him is just his ball skills it's just so annoying to watch him sometimes. Like he kind of claps at it. He uses his body a lot. He doesn't really go up and get it like attacking the ball like you'd like. So there are definitely, and also he's been hurt most of the year. So it's like he hasn't had a lot of game action as a senior to like improve upon things. But if he can improve his ball skills, I think there's definitely NFL upside with Mizel.
Joshua Manning was 48 on the freak list.
48. All right, he made the list.
Yeah, we'll take it. I mean, he's got a triple jump that rivals Julio Jones. But yeah, and he hits almost 21 miles an hour as a 6'3", almost 200-pound guy. So we'll take that. I like that. But to Aiden Mizel, I like that you picked him. I was hoping he'd get drafted. I was gonna have to do it on my own at the last pick if he didn't, just because go Gators. But yeah, I think he's an interesting athletic specimen, and hopefully in terms of that offense, they can figure out a way to use him, because Lord knows Florida needs some kind of explosive ability on offense. Other than when AR can get right and get a big play, but other than that, they really lack that danger weapon, and so Mizel can maybe come in and do that. All right, Matt, you're next.
All right. This is getting tough for me here. I'll go with Caden Fegan, running back, Illinois. He is a very, very big running back. He's listed as athlete, but he will be playing running back there. 6'2", 220 to 230-ish. Very in that Braylon Allen kind of mold. Very good athletic testing numbers. You can see on the film, moves very good laterally at his size too. He kind of plays that, that really old school offense where he's just, the quarterback and the wing T, and he just, they just run it straight with him every time, which is not that fun anymore, but he makes it kind of fun at least. And yeah, I think he's going to be a super producer in college with the athleticism and size to make it to the NFL.
Wow, deep cut. He's a 3-star on the 24/7, but a 4-star on the composite. You got to like Illinois. I mean, for college production, and Chase Brown's looking fantastic. So
I totally forgot about him. I'm pretty jealous right now because I love that fit at Illinois. It's like perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, sweet pick. I like that. I'm interested. I need to watch him a little bit more. I think I've taken a look when you've mentioned him before, but need to give him a closer look. All right, so now it's my turn. I guess I have 2 or 3 more picks. Let's see, 3 more. I'm going to go with, it's almost time to start getting into some like legit 3-stars here. We're just going to go Eugene Wilson. He's going to Florida, so I get to root for him on my fantasy team. But also, I actually have him a little bit higher than Mizel, which is surprising. but he's just going to be a really dynamic slot guy. I mean, at the worst, he's going to be a very dynamic slot guy. Take end around, so he'll have some rushing upside. But at best, he could develop into even more potentially. But I think he'll be another weapon at Florida that just needs weapons. And between him and Mizel, I mean, one of them will probably pop early in their career. He's been just incredibly dynamic this year too. We've talked about it, guys. You know, his senior season before he got injured, but in the first like 2 or 3 games, he scored touchdowns in like 4 different ways. I mean, returns, defense, offense, running, catching. He's just a dynamic guy. You love to see that when they're just always around the ball, always making plays. So Eugene Wilson III, come on down. We'll throw it to David.
All right. Let me just scan these quarterbacks real quick, see if there's anybody else out there. Let's get some college producers going here. I'll go with a little bit of a wild card here. The fit's kind of weird. I'm going to go with Chris Parson just because he's one of the best runners in the class, I feel like. We like that for fantasy. They pass the ball quite a bit at Mississippi State. And he's actually completing like 76% of his passes or something like that as a senior. So he's actually pretty accurate. And I think he's just kind of a gamer in general. You know, I saw him at the Elite 11. It probably wasn't like he didn't overwhelm me or anything. It probably wasn't like the greatest setting for him to like really thrive. But, you know, when you watch him play, like he makes all sorts of crazy plays. So I like him. I like his upside as a college producer.
Nice. Don't hate it at all. I saw him too. He throws a very nice ball. Matt, you're next.
Yeah, I love that pick. That's definitely someone I was considering here. I'll take Cordell Russell, wide receiver, TCU. Another big-time riser for us. He's had a very big senior season, especially compared to his junior season where he performed very poorly, at least statistically. And this year he's, popping off the stat page. He's 6'3", 200-plus pounds. He's a very explosive guy. Not the fastest in a straight line, but he's good after the catch. He can go up and get the ball. He's another guy. We were talking dunk tapes. He has several very nice dunks that definitely show off his athletic ability. And going to TCU, not a bad spot. He could end up being their next big outside wide receiver there.
And they've had a number of them. I mean, going back to Josh Doxson, I know his NFL future wasn't that great, but he dominated in college, and now they've got Quentin Johnston. So, okay, I'm going to go with I'm going to probably end it with 2 running backs here, I would imagine. Just to stock a running back room. You never know who's really going to pop, and with injuries and everything, you can always use more running backs. So I'm going to take Caleb Hicks. He is a 3-star running back committed to Oklahoma, and I just got him really hot. He was one of my favorite looking running backs, one of the more exciting guys to watch on tape, a variety of moves that he can put on people. He's just a very dynamic looking back. Has a lot of weapons, ability to make people miss, and he's pushing 200 pounds. I think he's listed at 195, 5'11", 195. And that could be, his junior numbers. So I think he could hit college in the 200 range, which is a great place to start. Looks like he looks good. I mean, the thick build. He doesn't look like some of these skinny guys. And so now I've got the Oklahoma running back room potentially locked up. So hopefully one of those guys will come through. But yeah, he really surprised me. He's in a big high school in Texas at Denton, I think. And so it's surprising that he kind of seemed to fall through the cracks in terms of just the rating, because he looks much better than the 3-star to me. So I'm going to go with what I think. Take Caleb Hicks. David's next for his final. Is this for final? Yep. Here's your last pick, David.
Last pick here, huh? All right. I'm going to go with, did anyone take Cardinal Tate or no?
No.
All right, so I'm gonna stop the slide on Cardinal Tate. I guess it appears we're like lower on him than like the services. I don't want to completely fade the services because I think they all pretty much have him around top 10. He goes to IMG, so he's going to be well coached and probably ahead of most high schoolers, which he is. I mean, he's a refined player, a mature player. So I think he's going to have to compete with a lot of really good receivers at Ohio State, which is the trouble. But we know that they're just a wide receiver factory when it comes to producing NFL talent. So I think there's NFL upside, and I like that with my last pick.
I like it. All right, David, Matt, your last pick here.
All right, this is very tough. There's two guys I really want to get here, but I'll just stick with my quarterback route here and take Novosad, quarterback to Baylor. He's a pretty talented guy. I think we underrated his arm a little bit. He's got pretty good velocity under it. He's definitely a top 10 quarterback. I think he's top 6 for me currently. Everyone knows he's Matt Bruning's guy by now, but you're not sure how productive he's going to be in college. You're not sure how high his NFL upside is. I just think he's a good player, and I think he definitely should be taken within the first 4 rounds of pretty much every draft. So I'm surprised he didn't get taken earlier, but he's gone now. So
okay, well, I'm between two guys as well. I'm just gonna go with the best offense, and that is Quentin Joyner, running back headed to USC. And he is listed at over 200 pounds already. I know we have him at a very high MPH. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but is he over 21? Do you know?
Yeah, he's. I think he's 21.9. I think he's only 190 though. I don't think he's over 200.
Yeah, On Three may have him lower. I know you usually go by On Three, but 24/7 right now has him listed at 203. But yeah, I mean, even at 190 plus, almost 22 miles an hour in a straight line. I think that's a bit of the knock on him. Is maybe just a straight line guy, not necessarily full of agility and things like that. But going to USC, love that. Potential for college production, and obviously with potential for the NFL after that. So I think it's a nice value here. If he's even close to 200 pounds and pushing almost 22 miles an hour on the ground, lot of upside there just in terms of his overall skill set. So I'll take Quentin Joyner now, add to my running back room, and I feel pretty good. That rounds out 4 rounds here. And so to recap, we'll just recap rounds 3 and 4. I already talked about the others. David went. I'll say who David picked actually on his team. So David kind of ends this draft with Laycock, Lions, Caleb Jackson, Sam Levitt going to Washington State, Tyler Williams, Aiden Mizell, Chris Parson, Cardinal Tate, and then Matt goes Jaden Greathouse, Kenny Minchie, quarterback, Augustave, running back, Keon Brown, receiver, Hakeem Williams, Fagan, which was a little bit off the wall, but he convinced me. I'm interested in this guy now. Russell and then Novosad. And then I'm going to end with Smothers, Sampson, Clarkson, Collins, Ricky Collins, the quarterback, Manning, but not Arch. This is Joshua Manning, receiver. Wilson. We're going to go Hicks and finish out with Joyner. And so, into the last few rounds with just a bunch of receivers and running backs.
Can I say biggest snub that didn't get drafted here is Jeremiah Cobb. Consensus top 10 running back for everybody's graded him on the team. I almost took him there at the last pick. I just, I don't really like taking Auburn players.
I think that comes in the evaluation. That's a great call. He was basically circled there. I just had Quentin Joyner. He was actually my other highest running back between the two of them. They were the next 2 in line, and I just had Quentin Joyner a little bit higher. The other guy almost went at the end there is Carmelo English, because he's a highlight reel guy. I like his tape, but there's some stuff.
Making the big flip going from Auburn to Michigan. That's gonna be real nice.
Is he even? I mean, I don't.
He just visited
Michigan
this weekend.
Oh, no.
Visited Michigan, but there's weird. I don't know.
He has a great taste.
Yeah, he loves those run heavy offenses. So yeah, I mean, I like his tape, but there's just some weird stuff around his decommitment, and I don't know. I mean, he visited Michigan, but didn't seem like there's just tons of buzz around him, and I just went safe for running back. And I already took a highlight reel guy, Noah Rogers, so maybe wasn't going to do that again. So biggest snub, Jeremiah Cobb. David, who do you think was the biggest snub? Who were you like, I can't believe they didn't go once we got finished here?
I'll just mention guys that the listeners probably are surprised it didn't go. I'm guessing like guys like Chris Vizina, Eli Holstein, a lot of these highly ranked quarterbacks that are going to prolific schools. Obviously, we're not very high on those guys. The other thing I was interested to see if anyone was going to take another tight end. It's pretty much it. I don't know. What do you guys think? It's just Deuce Robinson, and then after that, it's just kind of like, I don't know, maybe like Pierce Berlin, just because he's going to Georgia, and they just seem to be a tight end factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't really. I would have just waited even longer for just someone to slip. But yeah, I mean, there's a few guys I would consider around this range.
Matt, I'll ask you guys, when I went Deuce in the first, was that a reach or was that?
No, I think that's pretty. I think that's where he should and going to end up going. He's near, the end of the first in most drafts.
Okay. Because I didn't really know exactly. This is the first time we've done this. No one's really doing this. It felt right. I just didn't know. But yeah, that sounds reasonable that you agree there. So, Jalen Hale, your boy, didn't go.
Oh yes,
you got.
Matt got him.
Yeah, I took him in the second, I think.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you did. My bad. I missed that. Okay, that was last week. So he went the first two rounds.
Jalen Brown. I don't think anyone really likes him here.
No, I'm one of the highest people on the team on him, and I don't have him very high. So.
Dante Dowdle's kind of a big name, kind of a 4-star going to Oregon.
He's risen on me a bit lately.
Shamar Porter, who I kind of like.
Yeah,
he didn't go. Two smaller, faster guys, Joseph and Petaway. Yeah.
I'm shocked you didn't take. I'm shocked Alfred didn't take J.J. Cole.
J.J. Cole. Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the fact that Levitt went here where he did above some of these other highly ranked quarterbacks just goes to show you the volatility that you can have versus the services and versus all this stuff. But like, I don't know what would hold Levitt back unless he's just like not. I don't know, like he can't understand an offense or something. But like the tools look better than a lot of these higher rated guys on a guy like Levitt. So it'll be interesting, but. Last year, our group was way high on Quinton Judkins. I mean, I wasn't high enough, but we were all generally higher than the services. And now look at him. We were all lower on Branson Robinson, and look at him. I know he got injured, but still, he's not even injured. Paul is injured, and Branson still can't even sniff the field. I mean, they're running Dejon Edwards out there, or whatever. Branson can't even get touches in that offense. They're giving everyone touches in that backfield. So, I think we do a pretty good job here. And even though some of these are very interesting picks when you think about it, I like what we did. That's a good, solid group, 4 rounds. All right, I guess we can end it. We're a little over. We always talk a lot about these guys, but there's a lot to talk about here. So putting our money where our mouth is on this mock draft. Any final parting words, boys?
No, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. We should try to put the poll out again. I'm guessing it's still going to be Matt given Malachi and Arch, but we can try
Tough to argue Malachi and Arch, yeah.
Let's run it back. Come on, vote for me.
All right, David put in his vote for me. We will run it back, and thanks for sticking with us. This has been The Official.